Holy penultimate episode, Batman! Tiki here, and I am watching through each and every Batman the Animated Series episode for the first time. And folks, while we might not be done with the entire animated Batcave lineup, we are close to the end on the seminal Batman the Animated Series and the new Batman adventures themselves. So, Dragon, for one of the last times, at least for this show, tell them why we're here.
Well, you see, folks, long ago, I made a vow.
The far-off realm of 2013.
A vow to educate Tiki in the ways of Batman the Animated Series, serving as his spirit guide to Gotham in a way.
And tonight we're talking Beware the Creeper. And Dragon, not even going to beat around the bush with this one. This is not one of the best episodes of season 4, but it is one of my personal favorites. I thought this thing was just top to bottom, just super entertaining. Is it a great Batman episode? Honestly, no. It's not that Batman's out of character, but I feel like the times that he is used, there's a couple embarrassing Batman moments that we'll get to. But my God, Dragon, do they just bring the Jim Carrey energy with this villain? I mean, you were hyping up this guy, the Jack Ryder, and that's his name, right?
Yes, Jack Ryder, yeah.
Okay, I just want to make sure because I think Jack Ryder is also like a an espionage character right now. But
now you're thinking of Jack Ryan, aren't you?
I think I am thinking of Jack Ryan. You're right.
Oh, this is.
I'm sorry. All right. So yeah, suffice to say, Dragon. I mean, I think this is an oddball episode of Batman the Animated Series for sure. Like, I really like as far as like being in the pantheon of like the show's best episodes. It's kind of like one of these things is not like the other type scenario. But I do feel like, as far as comedy goes, I mean, I would probably have to do a Rolodex of, like, other episodes to be sure, but for my money, this is the funniest episode of Batman the Animated Series, like, bar none. I mean, the jokes were just coming fast and furious this episode. And, yeah, I mean, most of what I like about this episode really does come down to the title character, Dragon. I think he's a hoot. Unfortunately, if I had one major complaint about this episode, it's not really the episode's fault, but I feel like this is really one of the biggest episodes where the Joker redesign doesn't do him any favors. But, that's just kind of like the new Batman adventures in a nutshell, so there's not really much you can do about that. Anyways, Dragon, I'm very curious about both your thoughts on the episode and kind of like the general perception of the episode, because I have no idea.
Yeah, I've always found this to be I concur. It's a really entertaining episode. This is I think the most quotable new Batman Adventures episode. Truly, I mean, I pull a lot of Joker go-tos for me are from this episode because there's a lot of great lines. So interesting thing is that the Creeper's not technically a villain. He's kind of he's in the comics he's a hero, but borderline anti-hero because he goes a little far. So And
is it more like the comic book version of the Mask?
I mean, this version of the Creeper very much kind of like a borderline Mask thing for sure. There's definitely the Jim Carrey comparison is quite apt. But yeah, I mean, Beware the Creeper. Here's the thing. Obviously, towards the end of new Batman Adventures, we have these great Joker-centric episodes, which of course in Mad Love, top of the heap. Let's be honest.
Uh-huh.
And you got that. You got Joker's Millions, and you have Beware the Creeper, and they're very much they're standouts, but ultimately always overshadowed by your instant go-tos, like your Over the Edges, your Mad Loves, and Old Wounds, the trifecta.
Sure.
Then, of course, you go beyond that, you get into like Legends of the Dark Knight for your specialty. So pretty much, unfortunately, Beware the Creeper, I think it's loved, but it just kind of gets overshadowed by the go-tos for new adventures. And ultimately, for the reason you brought up, even in these great Joker episodes, the look distracts. Therefore,
It's unfortunate. I really do feel like this episode in particular would be better served with the original design.
Yeah.
Given that we're specifically dealing with like the iconography of the Joker.
Oh yeah, and that's the. I think that may have held it back over the years. I mean, when people remember it, they love it. But again, it's just,
yeah.
The other thing too is that we never really did anything with the Creeper beyond this episode. Where
that's a shame because the episode ends on a total cliffhanger.
Because here's the thing: he's in the background, like in Justice. He's a member of the Justice League, but he's like in the background though, and he does like some.
He's a member of the Justice League.
Well, by the time we get
Jack Ryder,
when we get
the same continuity and everything.
When we get to Justice League Unlimited, there's like 52 heroes, Tiki. So.
Oh wow, but just to make sure, it's like the same guy in the same continuity. Oh,
same DCAU, same continuity, same guy.
Okay, that's weird. Anyways,
and there are a few tiny comics where Batman and Creeper have had some adventures, so he's been in the DCAU just in terms of being on the screen. He's been a background character, really. Anyway, so let me give you the background of the episode. It's really, I think you're gonna really love this. So I think you've forgotten some of this, but you're gonna love this.
Okay.
So, this was directed by Dan Reba, of course, just giving you some very appropriate kind of pulls for the episode. He directed Joker's Millions and Critters.
Mm-hmm.
The writer on this, we had two writers on this. We had Rich Fogel, who did Old Wounds, which had some really good Joker stuff in it. And more importantly, co-written by the great Steve Gerber.
Mm-hmm.
Steve Gerber, I list out literally all the episodes of the animated series. He did Critters, which is definitely the weirdest they ever got, the most Gerber as it gets. He did Love is a Crock, and for the Joker of it all, he did World's Finest Part 3, when they did the big Batman Superman movie. Basically the way BVS should have been.
Right.
And of course, very famously, Steve Gerber created Great Howard the Duck.
Oh wow! Oh, that's some credits right there.
And Steve Gerber, basically, he's known for being the weird go-to guy in the medium.
I can totally Howard the Duck. Absolutely fits the aesthetic of this episode. I can totally vibe with that.
Also did Man Thing, but I don't think you're gonna. I can't bore you with all the details about Man Thing right now. Anyway,
okay.
So basically, Marvel's Swamp Thing, essentially. So the studio worked on this was Coco, a little hint of Dong Yang, of course. Just giving some of the centric episodes here. Did Mad Love very recently. Did Joker's Millions and Critters. So it's all relative.
Yeah.
Okay. So here's where the interesting backstory comes into play. So after the original run of Batman the Animated Series, as the creative team is making the shift to the Superman the Animated Series, they're probably in the infancy of Superman the Animated Series. Like maybe season 1's done at this point. This is before they're getting the go-ahead to do like 3 shows at once. So while we're kind of inching towards that, Paul Dini and Bruce Timm, kind of the heads of the ship in that regard at that point, especially Dini being the proven entity on the Batman show and going in the Superman, being there from the outset, they are asked to develop a superhero show by none other than Steven Spielberg.
Oh yeah.
So you can probably see where this is going. So essentially, they kind of pitched a very Creeper-inspired, because Creeper known entity since the '60s, very Creeper-inspired superhero. Basically, what if we did like a Joker, specifically, what if we took kind of a crazy visual like the Creeper and kind of did like essentially a Joker-like superhero in a more serious show, but had like a lot of comedic elements, which pretty much is kind of the blueprint for this episode, where again, it's a serious situation that births the Creeper, but again, it's kind of like The Mask. He's having a good old time.
Right.
So Spielberg, essentially, he wanted more of an Animaniacs, and kind of more Animaniacs Tiny Toons humor, which basically birthed Freakazoid.
Okay, so Creeper is essentially Freakazoid 1.0, you're saying?
Yes, Freakazoid's daddy, pretty much, yeah.
Wow. That makes a lot of sense. And
remember, so again, Bruce Timm, they're there in the outset, basically pitching the premise of Freakazoid. Again, you can see the Dini quality of the Freakazoid pitch for sure. And Bruce Timm, he did a lot of design work, and even though they changed it so fundamentally from what they pitched, they just kind of lost interest and they kind of drifted out of it. But Paul Dini sticks around, he writes some really hilarious Freakazoid episodes, and Bruce Timm's designs are used all the time. That's how you get like designs like Cave Guy, for example. That's a Bruce Timm design.
Sure.
And like Candlejack.
Oh God, I love Candlejack.
Exactly. So the point being, that's kind of pretty much where Freakazoid kind of starts and ends by the pen of the Batman the Animated Series crew. But again, importantly, so Creeper's in their minds and very freshly, like this, like 1995. They're thinking about Creeper. So again, a couple of years later, it's like, hey, we're doing new Batman adventures. We kind of developed some stuff with kind of a Creeper-esque mold. Let's just do the full-on Creeper, man. Let's do it. And for those who may not be aware, the Creeper, I don't know if you knew this, Tiki, the Creeper was a creation of Steve Ditko, of course, the co-creator of Spider-Man.
It feels like a Ditko thing, man. It really does. That's funny.
Oh, yeah, full-on Ditko. There's some loving Ditko nods in this episode. So that's basically why, like, Bruce Timm's kind of a fan of, the Creeper, very much kind of from the Steve Ditko vein. Very Silver Age pool, the Creeper. And, so they adapt him for new Batman adventures. And that's why they took the long con in setting up Jack Ryder, which I kept pointing out. Oh, there he is. There's a new reporter. We switched him for a reason.
Right.
You can't put Summer in Feather Boa. Yeah, so of course, yeah, it's how we did. It's really odd. They didn't end up doing this, but in some of the concept artwork for New Adventures, it really seemed. I assume this changed early on in the process. The Creeper was in the marketing, as in you had Batman. So
you think like maybe there was like some sort of like almost like a subplot involving the Creeper that got cut at the last minute?
I think it was considered, and basically as they were like kind of at very least New Adventures is kind of broken off in the two halves, like 97 and 98. So 97, like the first season, if you will, of the new show, which we're talking all as one because that's pretty much how everyone looks at it. But I imagine they set him up for that first season, and perhaps there was a plan to put him in more of season 2, the second half, but that didn't end up going for. I'm guesstimating on that. All I can tell you is that there is artwork of the Creeper as like all of them are standing on a rooftop. You got Batman, Nightwing, Batgirl, Robin, and the Creeper. So
that's really interesting.
And just given the fact that we're getting there, hence you don't introduce Jack Ryder without doing the Creeper. So the fact that he's in the start of the season in like Cold Comfort, or so. He was planned out, so at some point they knew they were going to do the Creeper, but I think they scaled it back.
All right, good backstory there.
Okay, all right, yeah, let's just jump right into it.
Dragon, I'm terribly sorry. My laptop is dying, and I'm looking for my charger. So you start in, all right?
Okay. All right, so the episode takes place on the Joker's 7th anniversary in the DCAU, apparently. This is kind of big for the people trying to keep track of everything. So we've established that Joker's been around for 7 years in the tomes of the DCAU. So it's Joker's 7th anniversary since he showed up in Gotham. And Jack Ryder's doing a special on him, very much kind of like a true crime thing, doing it live.
Can I just say that this whole true crime documentary vibe, this opening, I mean, right off the bat, like even before we get into any Creeper stuff, it's already like totally speaking my language.
I know. I was geeking out about it so hard because as a kid, I'm like, I want to watch this special.
Dragon, it's like the fucking carousel attraction in Jurassic Park.
That it is. I mean, Joker, the madness behind the laughter. And of course, you and I, especially more so me these days, I'm huge in the true crime stuff. I love the true crime genre, so I love the idea of Nick doing an in-universe thing with the Batman rogues. I just love this idea, let alone the Joker, who again, since the beginnings, he's the villain we've known the least about, really, when you think about it. Yeah. The only one who didn't really get an origin episode. I mean, that and the Penguin, but
So it's basically like almost like, hey, let's do the Killing Joke, but in the form of a mockumentary almost.
Yeah, essentially. So yeah, if it's wrong, it's like we know why it's wrong.
Yeah. So great idea to start out with. Great use of the Jack Ryder character, showing him in his element before shit goes down.
Now, something really cool I should mention too before we get too deep into it. So this whole episode is kind of a meta idea where Joker and the Creeper, the idea is the Creeper looks a lot like the Joker, but he was never linked to him from the outset. What happened was people took notice of, man, that Creeper character looks a lot like the Joker, who was kind of downplayed in the 60s when basically the Creeper came in like towards the tail end of the 60s.
Uh-huh.
And it's like, hey,
was the Creeper ever on the Adam West show?
No, never.
No, okay, I didn't think so. Okay.
Anyway.
I feel like tonally he would have fit right in, though.
Quite possibly. So, but regardless, I'm pretty sure it's like creating like 68, so that would definitely be like heck no, there wouldn't have been any window there. But yeah, I mean, again, like there are a lot of characters that would have fit the Adam West.
I'm gonna throw in someone for 60s creeper. All right.
Yeah.
What about Hans Conrad?
That's not bad.
You know who that is, right? The guy who played Captain Hook.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know. I think he'd be. I think he'd be fun. Anyways.
It could be fun. Anyway, so what happened is, Joker, Denny O'Neil gave Joker that solo series, which is, again, like every time we talk about Harley Quinn, the Joker versus the real world, check it out, folks. Every time we talk about that series, I talk about Joker being given kind of like him being the star of his own comic series, and that's when they kind of had the moment like, hey, let's have Joker meet the Creepers. They kind of call out the fact that these two guys look alike, so that's like the only time they ever crossed over. So they kind of took that as like a running thing. They're like, hey, let's do that here, but like just let's bump up the Creeper had a really weird origin. Let's just make it easier and kind of tie it into the Joker more and kind of make it like a meta call out for, yeah, these two characters are awfully similar. What if that's not by accident?
And it very much kind of turns into like, who's the biggest creep?
Yeah.
Who's a freak? Who's freaky all week, Dragon?
Sure.
That's an obscure podcast reference. You're welcome, RHAP fans. Anyway.
Okay, so the point is, again, I'm in the bag for this documentary that Ryan.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that Bruce Wayne's watching this. So I just love that. Here's the thing. My favorite thing is I love that we use some of Paul Dini's Phantasm Joker stuff in this with this little documentary here. That the idea is that the Joker has like many aliases because he was just like a nameless gunsel in many mobs, which ended up being the Balestra mob. Of course, very much. We see a little bit of the Mask of the Phantasm version of the Joker, which made me geek out so hard as a kid. Oh my God, it's from the movie! Look at it! Oh God, they didn't forget about that whole story.
Look at it!
It's that whole.
I want you to look at it.
The whole remember every time we talk about Make 'em Laugh, everyone forgets about Phantasm. They say, "Hey, look at Make 'em Laugh." It's like, no, just, everyone kind of paved over with that whole Joker was a comedian after all. Like, no, he was putting makeup like a comedian. Oh, but so I love that we kind of called it out here really wonderfully. So the fact that we don't know everything about the Joker, but people have pieced together, it probably happened like Killing Joke. Mm-hmm. So Tim Drake's asking, Bruce Wayne's very entranced with this, like, how many times?
Quickly, one more thing about this documentary thing.
Yeah.
Dragon, that logo, the whole like Joker, the madness behind the laughter. I mean, tell me that is not the most like mid-90s VH1 shit ever. I love it.
I know.
Like great. The text, the logo, like everything. It's so accurate to the time period.
And just the fact that this never happens, just the fact that it would be a live special too. Just imagine the clout that Jack.
You know what? The fact that it's live is honestly the one thing that kind of bothers me. Like, yeah, it's cool, and I understand. Like, there are like live, like occasionally you'll get like a live interview with a criminal or something like that, but. I don't know, Dragon. Like, to me, that kind of like threw me out of the immersion of the documentary vibe, but whatever. It's a small nitpick.
But it's the fact that Ryder, again, think about it, Tiki. You're in Gotham where these villains, like, it's not like a serial killer thing where the serial killers traditionally are caught, but when you do the documentary, in this case, it's Gotham. They're always out. They're always running around. So it's the appeal of like, hey, we can go to an actual location where these guys are like, it adds to the tension, the viewership. I'm sure Jack Ryder did like a big song and dance to get this thing made to make his career, I'm sure.
Right.
So anyway, Tim Drake.
When we see the I'm sorry, go ahead with Tim Drake.
Anyway, so Tim Drake saying like, how many times can you hear this sort of thing? And then of course he realizes, oh right, Mr. Obsessive. But that's what I love about this, Tiki. I love that Batman's a character who's always about the anniversary. He's always leaving the flowers in the alleyway on the anniversary. So of course, the other. For the Batman side of himself, of course, Batman and Joker are always joined at the hip, such an enduring, kind of dynamic in comics and history and everything. So, of course, Batman would pay special attention to what the Joker's going to do on their anniversary. It just makes all the sense in the world, of course, to be tuning in and watching this thing.
All right, so I do to give the redesign credit, Dragon, when they do flash like the origins of the Joker. I do think that the more basic redesign kind of helps with the amenity of it.
Sure.
That's like the one credit I'll give the redesign in this episode.
That's fair. Yeah, we do this hilarious like dramatization of essentially.
Oh my god, the guy playing the Batman is fucking hilarious.
Okay, so here's what cracks me up about that. Okay, so one, essentially it's kind of a mixture of Killing Joke and '89 because he's not wearing the Red Hood thing, so it's pretty much '89. I think it's
kind of has like a tick design with the size of his head.
It does. It is. And here's do you are familiar at all with the Batman serials from the
Yeah, vaguely. Yeah. Sure.
Well, that's the
sure.
thing. I love they kind of mix like the old Bob Kane design. It's kind of the Bob Kane Batman design mixed with the Batman serials, which is kind of an unimpressive. And we've made the Batsuit look a little unimpressive because it's like that '40s suit, but again, it's kind of classic Bob Kane design. So that's really fun.
The ears are a little too big.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And they're pointing out again. That's full on Bob Kane, but again, it just looks a little crappy because of the '40s serials. But that's the thing. So they kind of reached the compromise where the animated series is founded on the Burton films to an extent. So I think they kind of reached the compromise where we're not going to necessarily say we're not going to commit to we're going to keep the Joker thing a little fluid, but we're not going to put him in the Red Hood. We're not going to give him like the Red Hood dome because again, here's the thing. The people making this probably wouldn't know that he was the Red Hood anyway. They're probably say, okay, Joker falls in the vat. He comes out. We don't know if a Red Hood was involved. So any way you slice it, again, we just show the origin. Like we throw him, Batman just punches him into the water, which is clearly water, not chemicals.
Right. Yeah, just very, very cheap. Like it's great. It's great.
Oh, it's wonderful.
Oh, I wouldn't have it any other way.
I love the irony of what sets all these events into motion here. Jack Ryder says he's basically talking about erasing a man's identity and giving him a new persona, which is exactly what's about to happen to him. Yeah. As he says that, over his shoulder on the catwalk, Joker's waving the Batman on camera.
I will admit, this is a genuinely creepy Joker moment, Dragon.
It's so Snyder. so Scott Snyder Joker.
Like, it's creepy in the fact that, like, you could actually see something like this going down on live TV.
Yeah.
All right.
So we have like Joker, Harley, and company with Lermo and Kerr, the mime goons. And
my God, the curly one gets a great moment a little later on.
As he does. So they're about to guest star in this, and you think he saw Putty Tat for pudding Putty Tat?
Oh my God. Harley has a great role in this episode, and I do think, it's not even in the same realm of dramatic as Mad Love, but I like that we still continue the whole, Harley feels neglected angle, Like, that theme is still kind of running through it.
And again, it's interesting depending on how you watch these episodes, because this either precedes directly Mad Love or follows it, when you think of it. So it's kind of either way. I mean, either way, it works perfectly. I'm saying you could look at, we're seeing the cycle, then we're dramatic. We're making that dramatic.
Right.
Anyway, so we have this great classic line here, which is so true. Joker saying, "Oh, he'd never miss a show about me. He's my biggest fan. But just in case." It's just, of course, he's so right. Of course, again, these two guys are so joined at the hip. Of course, Joker knows without fail that Batman's going to watch this. But just in case, he attacks Jack Ryder and his crew live with rubber chickens filled with laughing gas.
Rubber chickens, of course.
Oh, yeah. So, of course, honestly, so again, I want to get this out of the way. So Joker is absolutely on fire this episode. All the Joker lines, the gadgets. Joker's come, with the exception of the design, which is the omnipresent flaw, he is wonderful in this episode.
Sure. I agree.
I'm live, you're dead. So let's see. So we have Ryder laughing as he tries to calm the dear viewer down, and of course Joker. Oh my God! So Joker very cruelly, and this is what I love in the episode. It's so Darkman-esque. It's so like how we can get in the Sam Raimi sense.
Literally with the same setting and everything.
Pretty much. I mean, it's not like one barrel. It's just like a giant vat.
Yeah.
The only difference. So Joker very cruelly offers to demonstrate for the live audience his origin. Let's show those folks what happened 7 years back. I'll be Batman.
I'll be Batman. You be me.
And he just tosses.
Also, Drag, we have to emphasize this is one of the moments I feel like where the laughing gas is at its most potent and disturbing. I think.
Oh sure.
It's you really can see him in pain as he's laughing.
I mean, it's like, let me put it this way: it ain't the blue meth kind of perfection that is Phantasm with how dangerous and scary the laughing gas can be, but it's right under it. It's right
Mhm.
under it. You know. So, Joker tosses Ryder into the vat of chemicals, and we have this hilarious gag with the henchmen. They're all like, it was Ryder
Giving
falls into
out
the
like
vat of
Olympic
chemicals.
scorecards like
Oh,
8.7, 7.8, 7.8, 7.7.
Joker. So then the Batmobile crashes through. Then we have one of my most quotable Joker lines. Every time I think of like if I ever need like a line to get into the character for the Joker, like not that I would really be doing any acting, but if I ever did, it would be and they say I'm crazy. I think it's like probably one of those perfect Joker lines
Yeah,
ever.
yeah.
All right. So Batman and Robin.
Friends feel unwelcome, boys.
And so Laramie, Kerr, and Harley, they're attacking them. And also Billy West doing the voice of all these stooges, because who else?
Oh, that's great. That's great.
Because of course he does a perfect Larry Fine, and also he does pretty much
Uh,
good with all three of them, which is genius.
he does do a freakishly perfect Larry Fine.
We'll get to that later on. I think it's Larry Fine. Say he has a great curly too, but we'll get there.
He has a great curly. He does have a great curly.
I mean, they're all great. I don't want to even Mo out, but listen, those two shine over Mo.
I feel like Larry is like his out of the three. That's his go-to. Though.
Absolutely, for obvious reasons.
Right.
So Joker, this is the thing that's just so palpable during this whole sequence. So as Batman and Robin are fighting the goons and everything, Joker just cruelly keeps.
Yeah, I love it. It's like Jack Ryder is like give him credit. He's like really adamantly trying to get out, but Joker's just keeps pushing him back in,
Just kicks him back into the
vat.
vat.
And of course, the irony of this, Dragon, is that the longer Jack Ryder stays in that vat, the more crazy he's going to get. And, within the scheme of the episode, the more he's going to be a rival to the Joker. So the Joker is literally creating his own rival right now, like actively.
Absolutely, it's genius. So okay, let's see. So Joker. Here's the thing. It's the Creeper origin is earmarked in cruelty, which maybe is like the kind of the charging kind of like why Joker's being so cruel, but it plays even better because of the Joker versus random crime that turns him into the Creeper. It's so much better.
All right, so then I believe now is around here where we get the
let me at him.
Yeah, let me at him.
Oh god. So then Joker submerges again. The very desperate Jack Ryder says, "What determination! Give that man a cigar." Then we have one of the classics from the 70s.
I love how he's just like like Jack Ryder at this point. I feel like he's far gone even now. Where it's like he takes the cigar and he's just like smiling with it in his mouth. He has no idea what's really going on right now.
Oh yeah, and just this of course, this is like an old throwback to when Joker made his big mark in comics, the big Denny O'Neil, Neil Adams thing, where basically he killed a man with an exploding cigar. He gave him a cigar, he left the apartment blew up. It was kind of a big moment. So we bring back the exploding cigar, and the idea is like the chemical combination of the pretty much just Ace chemicals. He was exposed to laughing gas before that, plus the chemicals, plus the exploding cigar, which lit everything on fire, and I'm sure like could have pumped up whatever was in Jack Ryder's system.
Right.
Boy, it's going to lead to all these fireworks and chaos and explosions.
Fireworks make me feel all tingly inside.
Then Harley tries to hit Batman with a big old wrench. Batman like flips one of the thugs into her, which is great. Really good fight choreography too. Amazingly, even after all this, I
know, right?
Jack Ryder, amazingly, he is okay. You know what I'm convinced, by the way? I'm convinced that has to be one of the very sparse, one of the very few BS&P notes where, okay, listen, you can do whatever, you can do all this cruel stuff to Jack Ryder, but you have to show he is okay after that cigar explosion.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
That he's alive. Now, we're going to learn it later anyway, but he's going to be all different. So we got to make sure the kids follow that, he survived that cigar explosion. It's okay.
Right, sure.
Like, Joker didn't just immolate a man on kids' television, even though it's kids' WB. We're doing so many other screw-up things this season. All right, so amazingly, Jack Ryder's okay. Batman and Robin, they get separated in the blast and all like the fireworks, chaos, and the smoke and everything. Robin's going up against the Joker, and this is one of my favorite Joker gadgets too. I love it. It has like the paddle ball whip. Just pulls out this paddle ball. It's like an Indiana Jones whip crack, and it's like bam, bam. He's hitting the crap out of Robin. Awesome. So then this hits the lever, which basically sends Jack Ryder down the drain. Pretty much like what happened to the Joker in his origin. The idea is he goes in that vat, he gets he goes out the drain exactly like this. Which is how Joker just doesn't die in the origin.
Right.
So anyway, so then Batman finally finds the Joker. I love the whole fight's been building up to Batman going up against the Joker. Again, the reunion after 7 years. I love how if you really think about it, it's kind of a great, great milestone for them. 7 years, and they're back in the same place it all started. How about that? 7 years. So it's like, how about that? You broke my face 7 years ago, and got. Darn it! Let me try. I'm sorry. I'm gonna do it one more time. Here I got it. How about that? You broke my face and got 7 years bad luck. Do you want to try for 14, or raise that anchor man from the ocean? Mm-hmm. Isn't a big old choice. Like, save the anchor man. Again, the anchor in the name, both funny pun. Or start this whole merry-go-round ride all over again. Of course, Batman's going to try and save Jack Ryder. They head to the drain, and no go.
Yeah, all they see is his shirt, and it's pretty much dissolved in acid. So Batman kind of very solemnly, with Tim Drake at his side, by the way, this is honestly kind of like a low-key disturbing moment for Tim Drake. Yeah. Just kind of like witnessing a man's death,
Yeah, and again, I guess I love how crushing it is. Like, Joker is just for think of it, Batman. Imagine how guilty Batman feels because of his relationship with the Joker. The Joker has, at least in part, he's done this just to get a rise out of Batman. He's killed a man. He's literally he tortured a man, then killed him. Yeah, it's really, really heartbreaking stuff. Thankfully, he's going to be okay. So Batman leaves. Batman leaves in the Batmobile, and we reveal this manhole cover, which then opens to reveal in silhouette Jack Ryder.
Here we go, Dragon. This is some of the most genuinely entertaining stuff in the entirety of Batman the Animated Series, I think.
Yes. The wonderful Jeff Bennett, folks.
Oh, yeah. Breaking news, and if you broke it, you have to pay for it.
So Jack Ryder is clearly out of it. He's now insane and completely unhinged.
I feel like Creeper, characterization-wise, I feel like he's a perfect marriage between Jim Carrey Mask and Freakazoid.
Yeah, I think that's about right. Yeah, and basically he's kind of... I like that. So Jack Ryder comes out of this, and he's basically trying to piece together the trauma that he's now incurred. But again, doing it in kind of a really kind of hilarious.
I love how he holds on to the newscaster persona, Dragon. That's one of my favorite things about him.
That is, and I love that. Like, these are like Jack Ryder's there, but he's just completely bonkers now.
Right.
And that's like the only piece of his identity he really has to cling on to. It's basically just like just he's a cliche now. He only has the cliche as the Creeper to hang on to. He really doesn't remember much of it's almost like a Jekyll Hyde thing. The Creeper does not know really much about Jack Ryder outside of like the newsman aspect.
All
right, so let's see. So then, he's like, I'm gonna go to the weather, and then there's a 50% chance of schizophrenia.
I feel like that line would not fly nowadays, but it's funny nonetheless.
Yeah. Back when we could be funny.
I know, right?
And of course, after the whole breaking news, just pay for it thing. Anyway, so of course, yellow skin, green. He's got yellow skin. He's got green hair, and he's got a Joker-like grin. He gets a glimpse of himself in a mirror. I'm feeling pretty good for a dead guy. He gets a glimpse of himself, and he repels back onto like a street lamp or something. And I love. It's so Ditko-like, Tiki. Again, like he has like the agility and strength of a Spider-Man. I love that.
Sure, yeah.
So he's hopping around like Tarzan.
Just the animation on him is great, just how fluidly he moves.
My favorite thing about, in addition to the fluidity and just kind of the agility, is that he's stronger, and you kind of see like it's sort of like it's like crazy strength, and that he's not thinking about it. So he's throwing everything around willingly, very cartoony, very over the top with a flourish. But again,
that's the thing. It does very much feel like a Freakazoid character in the Batman universe.
Yes, which feels really unsettling if you really think. All right, so let's see. So after the whole reaction, basically, I think he takes a beat. Just trying to figure out, I gotta figure out logically what's going on right now. Whoa, that hurt. Logan, very much like it's like The Mask, and I'm going to go for a deep nostalgic pull here. You're probably not going to remember it. I'm going to go for it though. So it's like The Mask mixed with Insaniac from Small Soldiers.
I vaguely remember that.
The Michael McKean one that spins around.
Yeah.
Like a radio DJ, pretty much. Anyway.
All right. And then I love this moment where he looks at his reflection and he just gives this like giant like leap back onto a streetlight. Like,
oh yeah.
Just this exaggerated leap.
Yep. And then he's asking this lady to help him with it. I'm having a wee bit of an identity crisis, lady in a bath. And this is a Steve Gerber bit if I've ever seen one.
That's very much The Mask, I think.
Exactly. And it's it's almost like you see the landlady and the eyes go like, woo!
And then that brings us to one of my favorite quotes. Okay, I love you. Bye bye.
You know what that's from, don't you?
What?
Animaniacs. It's Mindy.
Oh, is it? Oh.
It's Mindy and Buttons. It's a Mindy and Buttons pull. The whole "I love you, bye bye."
Oh my God, you're right. Yeah, I didn't even realize that.
Why says it like that? Okay, love you, bye bye.
Bye bye. Also getting some shades of the Star Tours hostess. Bye bye.
A little bit.
Right.
Okay, let's see. So, so the Creeper is factoring that. Okay, so his news career's in the toilet, so he's planning revenge for. Trying to get revenge for himself by pulling the Joker's plug, pulling the plug on the Joker's show. But first, very Mask-like. But first,
so Dragon, a creepy person enters a thrift store, and thus it's the tale of my job.
Okay, well, did you catch the name of this thrift store?
Vintage clothing, right?
Not just vintage clothing. What's next to the vintage clothing?
I don't know. I didn't catch that.
Ditko's vintage.
Ditko's. Oh, nice.
And there's another lovely Steve Ditko reference. So there's a mannequin in this place. The main mannequin that's standing around that Creeper knocks down to pretty much mauls. It looks exactly like the Question. It has there's no face on the mannequin, and he's wearing a suit and a hat like the other. You get to see that guy in the Justice League show, but Justice League Unlimited. But he's another Steve Ditko character, really awesome one called the Question, faceless detective. But he was the one of the inspirations for Rorschach and Watchmen.
Nice.
Not the main one, but one of them.
Yeah.
Anyways, the point being, so he's jumping around this vintage thrift store place. He's just unintentionally terrorizing the place, not stealing from, just unintentionally terrorizing it. He's going for a new look, and I love. By the way, this whole scene very Steve Gerber-esque with the whole deadpan sales clerk, just saying, what do you think about the feather boa? Too much? Not for you, baby.
Also, of course, we got to mention the, I believe it's an Adam West Batman mask, right?
Oh, not just an Adam West mask, my friend.
Oh, God. What is it?
That is the infamous Ben Cooper Batman mask.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Hence the logo on the forehead.
Man.
It was that dumb conceit back in the day. Even though some of the masks were cool, you always had that extra detail. Like, you would have, the shirts that say Batman across, and the logo would be on the forehead. So it's very much an Adam West modeled one here. I forget if the Ben Cooper ones were directly Adam West or just kind of the Adam West era Batman from the '60s. The point being, it's a very Adam West nod to he's going for a new look. He pulls out, been done. Any suggestions? With your color, I'd go green. Hands him a green Speedo and the red. He grabs a red boa and gloves from a mannequin.
The boa just fucking makes it.
Okay, so the origin of the Creeper's outfit, by the way, so it works a lot better here. So the way it went was there was always a contrived masquerade party, where the Creeper either he was going to a masquerade or they tried to humiliate him they inject him with a whole bunch of stuff that messed with him, and they put him in a costume for a masquerade ball. It's terrible.
Oh, God.
So we made it a lot simpler here. He's going for a good look, and he's crazy. That's all the explanation.
He's
a crazy man. All right, so cash or plastic?
Plastic!
Just crashes the mask on the counter. But I love the detail that he actually paid for it. That's my favorite thing about this. He actually paid for it. Okay, anyway, so Alfred calls Batman and Robin, basically that tells him that Jack Ryder's credit card was used recently, which is a lead to find Jack Ryder. What happened to the guy?
Yeah, I love how that's very, very serious. Batman just immediately makes it, pulls a U-turn, just goes right back around.
Oh God, he's alive. We can save him. All right, so then, oh boy, and the episode gets even better.
All right, so Joker's just kind of like ruminating to himself, like, someone's been stealing my act. Is there no honor among thieves?
I love that. I completely forgot about this detail. Before he gets into the monologue, if you look, the cabbie is dead in the car.
Yes, I did see that. I did see that.
Him off. I love it. Someone's stealing my routine. And again, just the meta call out of like the Joker and the Creeper's history with each other. Like, the copycat. Joker can't abide that.
All right, so here we go, Dragon. Here we go. The scene that gives Puddin' a whole new meaning.
That it does. So I'm already sold. Like, it's so in character. Joker, being the comedian, the performer, is so offended by someone stealing his routine. But how can we make this scene even better? So the lair and the goons have been cleared out for Harley Quinn.
So you guys know the famous Marilyn Monroe "Happy Birthday, Mr. President"?
Oh yeah.
Let's do that with Harley, but let's put her in a giant pie.
Yep, so of course, Arlene Sorkin, it's always great when we get Arlene Sorkin to sing as Harley, so she's singing the Joker's anniversary, but yes, with a lot of pie.
Happy birthday, Mr. J.
Happy anniversary, Mr.
Yeah, happy
J.
anniversary.
Really swell and okay. And like kicks like the cherry on his lapel or something. Almost by the way, so it's hilarious. Joker's expression in this scene is hilarious. He's just like, he's pretty much the audience like, what?
Like, he's not necessarily offended.
No, he's just kind of surprised.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, look, she went to a lot of trouble for this.
And like I said, I do like that it directly follows Mad Love, and we're kind of seeing a continuation of, of her being very much the one who's more engaged in the relationship.
Also, detailing catches a kid, but definitely caught. Harley, she's not wearing anything but the pie.
Oh, yeah.
You can tell.
Domino mask.
You can tell because she doesn't have little cuffs on her arms, so that's how you can tell. But it's, yeah. Anyway, so she's doing like the whole Mr. President thing for him. It's a very sweet gesture for sure, and of course, like Mad Love, it very much takes a backseat to the business at hand with the Joker, what's on the Joker's mind presently, especially when it cuts him so deep as if Batman insulting him, or in this case, someone stealing his routine. So, I just love this. It handles so perfect in this scene. It's like, Harley, and then this is,
wanna try some pie?
I'm sure you'll want seconds, Harley. I'm not in a party mood. But if you really want to make me happy, and we just do almost the Flintstones cut, and I love it. It's this cut too, just kicking her outside, wearing nothing but pie and a little jester's cap. Find the plagiarist who's been stealing my act. And of course, Bud and Lou like licking the pie off. And then we have, I think, one of the great things that sums up Joker and Harley's relationship. After the sweet gesture and after Joker abuses her so, he tries like the little pie on his lapel. Ugh, sweet kid, but lousy cook. I love the notion. Harley can't cook, but she tries her darndest to.
Alright, so meanwhile, at the docks...
And the stacked deck. This is a callback to Batgirl Returns, when she and Catwoman went to that bar. It's the same place.
Oh, yeah. Nice. Alright, so the Three Stooges are getting their billiards on.
Yep, and then the Creeper crashes the party and is inquiring about the Joker, and it takes I like if he's noting, dramatic pause, the Joker. So we get the Creeper's namesake in this moment here. It's just, we don't know anything about no Joker, Creep. That's the Mo. That's Mo talking. Just,
Creep, I like it. My new name, the Creep.
Oh.
No, wait, too negative. I have it. Drum roll, please.
I said drum roll, please. And he's beating on Curly's head. Hey! The Creeper. So then he grabs Lair, and he's holding him upside down, very Spider-Man-esque again with the old Ditko of it all here. And he's saying, "Oh, this is great." His girlfriend, I do a terrible Larry Fine, folks, but his girlfriend's throwing him a party, invitation only. So, yeah, this is great. So he's like, well, we're going to throw our own bash. So basically a little fight scene happens off screen between these guys. And, of course, Harley's lamenting, like, I spent hours on that pie.
I was baking that pie. Does he show any appreciation? No.
Nope. So, again, basically, guys like a giant pool table's thrown through a window. Oh, God. So, anyway, so then Batman's on, he kind of takes notice of this as well, so he's entering the scene. All of this, basically, Creeper's interrogation is interrupted as he becomes head over heels in love Almost Charles Grodin to Miss Piggy style with
Yes,
with,
yes.
with Harley Quinn. We have this great cartoony, like kind of like almost Iris thing of like seeing Harley is like, instead of like the tropical music playing, it's like she's winking to him in like his fantasy. Ooh, baby.
Well, I also like that it's like a tropical island backdrop.
Yeah.
See.
Right. So he's hitting on Harley, and basically, like, these goons are coming up to him, he's just punching him one-handedly with his hand strength, and then Batman's going to talk to him, and then bams him without even noticing, because he's
okay,
so
that's the one moment with Batman where I really feel like that kind of threw me off, Dragon. You never see that sort of slapstick with Batman.
True,
I'm not saying
like,
I don't necessarily like it. I'm saying it's weird. It was weird to see.
I think it's fine because we only do it once, you know?
Fair enough. Fair
like,
enough.
If we kept doing if Creeper really like fought against Batman this episode, I don't know how I feel about that, but you know. Anyway, so he's
one of the rare times where Batman is truly the butt of a joke.
And again, honestly, Batman's just overjoyed this guy's still alive. You know,
that's true.
To be fair, he's piecing it together. This is the same guy, though. So he's not quite there yet, but I think he's pretty much kind of putting the pieces together. It's the same guy. Anyway, so he's just really, much like the Joker is later on, he's very surprised. What the heck is this guy? What is this? Okay, let's see. So before Batman can interject here, as he's hitting on the Creeper's hitting on Harley Quinn and everything, living up to his namesakes, I guess the PC culture would argue now, very much so. Let's see. So Mo gets on the table there and says, I want the Joker and your phone number. This is all interrupted by Mo opening Tommy gun fire on every play. So Creeper's going after Harley, and Batman's taking out this guy awesomely with a pool table. This is awesome. I love that Batman's like he's absorbing the gunfire with the pool table and throwing it at him. It's awesome. All right, let's see. So then the Creeper's getting all flirty and fighty with Harley Quinn on the docks. Again, the namesake it plays. Back off, creep.
I also like how he just straight up throws out a booga booga.
Booga booga. So, of course, she's Harley kind of luring him into a false sense of security here. Like, you're agile, I'll give you that. And what else? I love the baby. And what else will you give me? Come over here and find it. She drops like a giant thinker statue with wings on him. That's one way out of a bad day. She's flipping happily along, thinking things are over. So, good news. Creeper lives, as Robin said. Let's get the mop for this guy. He's dead, clearly, but again, it's like cartoon physics. He's indestructible.
It's total cartoon physics. This is like the most cartoon physics moment.
It's like his head pops out like the top of the statue. Let's get him more cartoony. Again, he's a freakazoid character and so creepy.
Right. Woo! I like a girl who plays rough. Says that like bursting out of the statue.
Yeah, and then Robin's just like, wait, she tried to kill you. You're young. You'll learn.
God. Kind of like tussles Robin's hair.
Yeah, like the boy will learn.
The arrogance of youth.
Yep. The innocence of youth in this case, but yes.
Right.
All right, so then basically we get the big introduction to Batman. They call me Yellow-Skinned Wacky Man.
That's great. This kid, I obviously they didn't know at the time, but it's a little there's some connotations there that I just gotta point out.
I still say even to the most uptight of the uptight, he's literally the color yellow.
I understand.
I know you do.
I'm just pointing it out, Dragon. I'm just pointing it out. Like, yes, we acknowledge it.
I mean, it's not like the Pink Panther now where I watch the Pink Panther, I gotta say, yeah, it's not PC when he calls Kato his yellow friend. That doesn't.
Oh no! Oh boy!
Yeah. I mean, Kato's still hilarious in those movies, though. But no, it doesn't fly.
Right.
Anyway, so let's see, where is it? Anyways, okay, so but I
jilted madman stalks crazy clown girl. Film at 11.
God, so basically, in hearing all this, Ben and Robin determined. Yeah, it's Jack Ryder, all right. He was exposed to those chemicals and everything.
I mean, what are the odds that there'd be just a crazy person going around giving, faux news commentary?
So, by the way, we have another one of the great lines for me. One of my favorite go-to kind of Batman lines. The whole Robin saying, call Arkham quick. It's a great insult. It's kind of a great, when someone's anytime someone's getting a little rowdy in the comments, just you pull out a little bit of, someone call Arkham quick.
Right. I can see that.
Anyway, So let's see. So then we have. Oh, so this is great. So again, they're basically tailing creepers. Creepers like tracking Harley back to the Joker's lair. So we have this great mundane moment of Joker.
This is my favorite Joker line in the episode, Drake.
It's great. It's like none of the Joker lines are stinkers. Rarely are they ever, but this is their top tier. This episode. So I love the mundane idea that Joker has to fill his acid squirt flower.
Yeah. That's great. That's great. And Harley comes in. She almost knocks the acid off, and he says, "Harley, you nearly blew us to Chattahoochee." Just Chattahoochee, Dragon.
Yeah, Chattahoochee.
Chattahoochee. I'm sorry.
Nearly blew us to Chattahoochee.
Chattahoochee. That must have been a Mark Hamill improv.
I'm sure it was. And then we have like some. Again, his delivery is so flawless here too. Where we also have like, he's after me, Puddin', he's after me, and who precisely would that be? So like, just the cadence and the deliveries again. It's the whole Harley Joker relationship just economized. You kind of feel it there, where it's like again deep down the Joker obviously we get the whole dark stuff with the Mad Lover. Again, he kicks her around. There's a manipulation. He treats her poorly. But deep down, Joker keeps her around for a reason. It's kind of like a Lucy Ricky thing. Where deep down he's got like. Deep down, there's like a little shriveled part of the Joker's heart that does care about her. That's why.
Well, Fred, Lucy is a crazy girl, but she my crazy girl.
Yeah. Okay, so of course, like right on cue, Harley, I'm home.
Oh God, that's got to be one of the most iconic moments in the episode.
So now the two have met. I love how even Joker's like caught off guard, like it is striking hard to the fear of criminals. So basically Harley establishes, that's the guy who's been stealing your act. That's not all, Mr. Happy. I'm stealing your girl, too. And this is hilarious. This is basically, folks, I know it sounds a little repetitious, but it's true. It's really hilarious. It's just this whole bit of like, I didn't encourage him. And Joker like grabs her by like the little ear on the desk, pulls her close and romantic. Like, that's all right, Pooh. I know you're a one-man loon, then just like tosses her aside as he's getting space. There's only one room in Gotham for a clown prince. How would you like? And he's like those like palms, like a little magic trick of like the acid vial, like the chemical vial, like the volatile acid vial. He says, how would you like an all-expense trip to Metropolis on Air Nitro? Which need I say more? Batman and Robin are looking for the creeper, and we hear like a big explosion.
Dragon, I literally thought in this moment that that the creeper was literally just going to be going flying, and they're going to like see their binoculars, like in Metropolis was going to be out in the distance. Like maybe Superman makes a cameo and catches him or something.
Right.
But anyways.
Anyway, so this big explosion, like where do you think he is? That way. All right, so we just have this, again, like Creeper going over to the Harley Quinn. Sweetie got a boo-boo. Then, bam, out comes the giant iconic mallet. Like, bam, Creepo got a concussion. Joker's loving it. So now Batman's around. So Joker, I love that you can kind of intimate this perfectly. So Joker sees Batman around and says, I'll go start the car. So even though he's going to leave Harley there, you know it. Right. So he goes to the Joker Mobile, which never looked as good when it was redesigned. But it's still, I love the features of the Joker Mobile. I just wish it was a little less just stock purple.
Yeah.
Joker Mobile, he goes there, and Batman lands on the hood. He uses like the old trick catapulting hood, which just launches Batman. Let's see, so Robin unleashes like all these. It's basically the hideout. By the way, I think it's like a parade. Like
I was gonna ask you. It's like it kind of feels like just kind of like a warehouse of 60s Batman props, Dragon, honestly.
It does. There's definitely a Dick There's kind of a Dick Sprang vibe, for sure.
But I get the parade warehouse thing. That makes logical sense.
I think specifically it has to be a parade warehouse, but it does feel almost like the 60s Batman movie where they have all the random labeled props.
Sure. Yeah.
It's kind of like a grab bag kind of thing. But anyway. So I'm sure you love this. So Harley pulls up with a new ride so they can get away. And what is that? What is essentially that a float of?
Essentially, it's a small world.
Yes, exactly. Essentially, it's a small world.
It's a small world in the form of a parade float, which honestly I'm surprised if that's never been done, like a small world Macy's Day parade float or something like that. I'm honestly surprised.
I mean, let me ask you this: wouldn't they have done that in like the Disney like parade at some point in all the years it's been around?
You know, you would think. Hold on, now I'm gonna look it up. But go ahead, go ahead.
Okay, so Joker's riding on top of this float. Of course, that's how Joker goes in style. He's on a parade. Every day's a parade with the Joker, especially on his anniversary. So we have this crazy Blues Brothers conclusion almost of the creeper.
Looks like there was a Main Street electrical parade float with Small World.
Well, there you go.
I'm sorry. That makes sense. Anyways.
So the creeper is riding in the Joker mobile, almost runs Batman over. So like Robin, he's basically doing the old Marty McFly Back to the Future thing. He's grappling onto, he's on like a little kind of makeshift skateboard as he's like clinging onto the back of the Joker mobile. As Batman, like he jumped on the hood, which just slammed it down. He like ripped the top off, which is still really cool. Very Back to the Future kind of Batman stuff we're doing here. So, anyway, basically it's just an insane car chase where the creeper is driving the car, following the parade.
Just starts to throw the Small World children at them.
And then creepers. And I love how intimidating Conroy gets because he's so done with this episode.
Right. I wonder if it'd be funny if that was just genuinely Conroy just being like, you know what, this episode's too silly for me. I'm over it.
Well, less silly, more like I'm barely in this episode, man.
Right.
Creeper, stop the car now! I just love how serious he gets. Just like tell him to stop this car right darn now. Anyway, so Joker's then he knocks the globe off the floor, which leads like a Raiders boulder, which basically crashes onto the car, and Creeper goes for the wipers, and he's just hitting random buttons. He launches like a whole barrage of missiles, and then the ejector seat, which then launches him. Basically crashes into like the driver's seat with Harley and Joker. This hilarious pose of the creeper like biting one of the jester ears on Harley's costume as they're about to crash. It's really funny. So it goes full circle, Tiki. They end up at the Ace waste disposal part of the chemical factory, and so it goes full circle. They land on this mound, this giant mound of trash, this giant trash heap mound. Batman just saves Robin at the last things. The car's about to careen off. It's really cool, and big explosion. Oh, if I recall, one of the explosions they use in a couple other places. It's hard for me to snuff it out because sometimes they retouch up the explosions. So they use placeholder explosions in some of the episodes. I think they reused this explosion in a few other episodes. Anyway, so Joker and Creeper. Basically, Creeper is kind of just tosses the Joker from the giant mound. And this Joker, we haven't seen this since the first season during Joker's Favor, where he's begging at the feet of Batman to save him from Charlie Collins, or in this case, he's just begging Batman he's a lunatic. And for the Joker of all people to say that's saying something. But it's justice. He created his own demons there. It's justice.
Sure. I mean, very much so.
So the Creeper makes a move on poor Harley. Oh, baby. On you, even garbage looks good.
Oh, God.
I love Arlene Sorkin's just exasperated, oh, go away.
Right.
It's great.
Drake, you know what? I do like how, on some level, this episode is kind of a commentary on pickup artists.
Well, I mean, again, with the namesake. With the namesake, it works. I don't know if we've ever really done that with the Creeper in the comics for the years he was created in the beginning.
I don't even really think it's intentional. I just think, looking back around through cultural osmosis, I think there's some shades of it.
Sure.
All right.
Anyway, so, Joker's cuffed, and then Batman uses a sedative on the Creeper. Sleepy, and he just collapses onto Harley. We have this perfect expression on Harley. So the look on her face is priceless. I'm done with this episode, man.
I think everyone's done with this episode at this point.
I love it.
All right, so we have a wrap up with Jack Ryder.
Yeah, so we have Batman and Robin. They basically provide Jack Ryder with an antidote patch.
I love how he's still in the green leotard and the he's got like the boa like still in his apartment.
Yeah. So Batman, importantly, we set up that Batman needs to make more of this antidote. It's like this is a temporary fix, and Ryder's like he's figuring his career's over anyway, so he should have dissolved in that acid. But Batman points out very chipper for Batman. Says it's salvageable. No one knows you were the Creeper, and as long as you keep wearing that patch, you'll stay that way. So then Batman and Robin leave, which then leads kind of our memorable ending here. So Jack Ryder, he kind of scoffs at, little piece of cotton. Hard to believe.
And this is kind of an Inception thing where it's like, did he tear the Band-Aid off? Did he not?
Well, if you really look, you see him tear the Band-Aid off, Tiki. That's the thing. You see him, like, fully...
Oh, yeah, you're right. I see it, yeah.
But no, you're right. That is the intended effect, though. But again, he's just going off. So, I mean, you look at it, he's definitely... I think it's the idea that it's yet another life the Joker has debatably ruined, or if you look at him like the glass half full side of thing, maybe a hero in the making. Who knows? Again, had we gotten more Creeper episodes, who knows? But,
If only. I would take a whole Creeper show, honestly.
I mean, we kind of got the better version of the Freakazoid, but sure.
Yeah, I'm saying, but imagine a more adult-centric Freakazoid, though.
I mean, I'd be down for it for sure. I don't know if the kids would, but I would. Oh, by the way, before I forget about the cotton thing, the cotton was a new idea. So the original was like he had like an embedded piece of technology that switched them back and forth in the comics. So they kind of did a nice little kind of forward thing there. All right, yeah. So that's the end. He's laughing all the way. You hear the Creeper laugh.
So Dragon, I'll wrap it up into my final thoughts, but one of my final thoughts I'd be remiss if I didn't go into is this episode has a fantastic, like, jazzy, cartoony score to it.
Oh, yeah.
And, overall final thoughts, Dragon. This is certainly not one of, like, the artistic high points of Batman the Animated Series by any means, but as far as the comedy goes, I'd really be hard-pressed to find one that's funnier, and certainly it's got to be the most quotable episode. I mean, the lines in this episode just kind of come a mile a minute. So yeah, mix that with just a splash of social commentary with the pickup artist angle, and I think you've got yourself a pretty damn good episode. I liked it a lot.
Yeah. Final thoughts for me. It's a great episode. It's probably, as I said, most quotable new Batman Adventures episode. One of the most quotable animated series episodes, at least for me. Just kind of all I go to. I mean, it's again some of the best Joker lines. I mean, it's between the man who killed Batman and this for the best Joker lines. Let's be honest, and Laughing Fish. Again, I think this episode, just in the grand scheme of things, especially since we're kind of winding down on the new Batman Adventures, I mean, of all the Steve Gerber episodes, I think this is kind of the perfect balance for him. They have some of the world's finest kind of Joker stuff that he did. It's kind of like the caliber of world's finest, but you get with all the primo Joker writing. But again, it's crazy, and the Creeper is just tailor made for Gerber's sensibilities, story wise, and that it's off the wall, it's crazy, go a little cartoony with it. You have like some of these deadpan hilarious moments, like when he's getting the costume. It's like, again, it feels like it's perfect for like his irreverent kind of tone to the superhero story.
Yeah. For sure.
It's great. I think it's a great idea rooting that whole like Joker Creeper kind of comparisons kind of actualized into the plot. Let me put it this way. I'm not heartbroken we didn't get more Creeper, but given the Freakazoid connect of it all and just the fun of Jeff Bennett in the role that we had here, just got a glimpse of in this episode. I mean, it's a lot of fun. It would have been a lot of fun. And again, it does make me wish we saw maybe like a hair more Creeper. I mean, I go for a series now, especially then. It's like, yeah, okay, well, the Creeper, he left an impact, is my point. The Creeper, whether you love him or hate him, he definitely leaves an impact. And I'm on very much kind of loving that side because it's delightful. It's fun. Again, very Freakazoid-esque.
All right. Okay, so take us out, Dragon.
A new vigilante in Gotham, shades of the Phantasm. Two-Face on trial. Can the Batman save his foes from a harsh sentence? Or will the court of public opinion turn on him first? Tune in next time to find out. Same animated bat time, same animated bat place.
On the next visit to the animated Batcave with Judgment Day.
And they say I'm crazy.
You nearly blew us to Chattahoochee.